Okay, hey everyone. Today, in 15 minutes of AI innovation in VetMed, I have Dr. Will Tancredi. So, Dr. Will, thank you so much for being here.
That's my pleasure.
Please tell our audience, where do you work, what do you do? I met you in January over at VMX, and I was amazed by all of your knowledge that you had with LLMs, being a
It's kind of you.
veterinarian. And so, if you could just give a quick intro of what do you do?
I'm a small animal practitioner. I'm a practice owner in Chaddsford, Pennsylvania, which is my hometown. I'm a solo doctor practice. I just like playing James Harriet for my neighbors. Um, and I got into AI. I don't really remember the inciting cause, but I'm kind of intense. I thought it was really cool, and I found myself passionate about it and about all the things it could do in vet med. And it was a hot topic, so it was fun to learn about and explore. And uh, you know, it's hard not to enjoy learning about something like this.
Yeah, for sure. When I first met you in January, like you already knew quite a bit about LLMs and how they worked. And for those listening that don't know what LLMs are large language models. It's basically the technology behind ChatGPT. And I wanted to ask Dr. Will, like specifically for LLMs and this ChatGPT technology. Do you remember when you first started learning about this, and maybe how you applied that to your practice, or was it just like exploratory for personal reasons? Yeah.
I think it would probably be about January-ish of 2023. I was using GPT-3 and then 3.5 and then 4 as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
I really like language. I like words. I like to read. I like to write. And um, this, alien brain that is the LLM seems to be really fun at uh, when it comes to helping you read or helping you write or helping explain things. And I just had to learn more.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And last time we were chatting about what are some of the advantages that this technology can bring to veterinary medicine. As you know, we're building Vetrec, which is an AI scribe for veterinarians. But there's a ton of other companies and tools out there that are leveraging LLM specifically for veterinary medicine. I wanted to get your thoughts. Being a veterinarian, how do you use them in your practice, or how have you seen other companies using them? And yeah, just general ideas about this technology specifically for veterinarians, and how it can how it's going to basically keep innovating this field.
I do like VetRec. I do use an AI scribe myself. I think that saves a lot of time. I use it to, um, shall we say, refine client or professional emails. I
Mhm.
can have a very direct style of communication,
Yeah.
and softening the edges a bit is not a bad thing all the time. I think as a profession, we uh, are inclined and prone to very technical explanations of things. I think LLMs are a big help when it comes to changing the tone or the level of communication,
Mhm.
whether to clients or to staff or to even other veterinarians who, might not have the level of expertise or experience. So those things at which veterinarians are often, shall we say, not as well trained, not as experienced, like communication, we can get better at. And this nifty technology is really good at it. And like VetRec, no, none of us became a vet because we like keeping medical records, right?
Yeah.
Like that was never anybody's dream as a kid. So to not have to do that or have to spend 2 minutes on that instead of 10 minutes on that
Yeah.
for every patient, boy, that saves a lot of time and energy. That's really a nice feeling.
Yeah, yeah, and I speaking about like reading and writing, and you were alluding to this a little bit at the beginning. You have your own Substack,
I
right? Like
do.
you write a lot about AI and specifically like yeah, large language models. But I know that you've entered into like other pieces of it. Like I don't know. I have so many questions about this Substack, but mainly like First of all, how do you find the time, and also how do you find, like, how do you research these concepts? Given that, again, you're a veterinarian and
Yeah,
you're
I spay cats for a living. What do I know about large language models, right? Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
no,
how,
seriously. I just, I'm kind of an intense guy, so and I love to read. So that's like my preferred means of just entering the world is to read and to write. Um, I also have a newborn, which is really exciting, but he
congratulations.
never sleeps, so I now have a lot of time throughout the night to read things and learn things. Um, and it's just not a day goes by that I don't get like excited about the possibility of learning about this or learning about that. And it's a new LLM model, or it's a new, or it's the Yukon Purdue game, or it's another book that came out about business or science
Yeah.
fiction or something. Like I really like to consume the information. And when it comes to writing, I always talk about a quote by Frank Sinatra. And they asked Frank Sinatra near the end of his life, like how long he was going to sing. And he said, I don't sing because I need the money. I sing because I'm a singer. It's who I am.
Yeah. Like it. Yeah.
And before I was a vet, I was a writer, and I love to write.
Wow.
And um, I think one of the things that got me writing about AI was I just couldn't find anything good about AI in VetMed. Or I could, but I could read it, and then there was it was short.
Right.
It wasn't up to date.
Right.
Um, and I was like, well, if nobody's going to write this, I'm going to write this.
Would you say that there's been, over the past year, I guess, or over the past months, like an influx of this knowledge of AI, particularly in VetMed, or are you not seeing that much yet?
Well, I'm doing my very level best. I, you know, I, it's not happening fast enough for me, right? I think it's happening, but
Yeah.
I think, I'm impatient.
Yeah.
So I think everyone should now know all the things and see how awesome it is. But it's happening. It's happening slowly.
Yeah.
There was an article in JAVMA last month about how LLMs did on uh, test questions given to veterinary students, and it was okay.
Mm, mm.
But it's getting there, right? Like they're doing the research, that people are getting interested. I would like to see, more lectures about it at big conferences, and it's hard to write about. I've submitted articles to some of the industry publications, but AI moves so fast, and they're like, okay, this article you published is going to be out 9 months from now,
Oh no,
and it's like
I got it.
it's not going to help anybody. It's not going to do any good, right? Um, and so you end up writing it so that it has some lasting power and isn't completely ridiculous by the time it's published, and it loses some of its punchiness. Which is how another way I started with the Substack, because I can just click publish and it goes out. So that was nice.
Mm.
But I think they're trying. They're publishing more articles. They're doing more. But I think everything should be much faster.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a good perspective. We're also doing our part here, but
Yeah, you are actually. This is part of
yeah,
both our parts. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So I know that you've particularly been interested in like large language models, which again, it's about what we've been discussing about
Hmm.
helping with like communications and
Sure.
scribing and text and whatnot. But where do you think, or what have you read about other different AI applications that you think could also help veterinary medicine? I've seen stuff from like image diagnostics and
Oh
and
yeah.
and scheduling, and like I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I think my I'm really excited. I really like being a clinician. I really like being a veterinarian, right? So I really am excited for the jumps forward in clinical decision making.
Hmm.
And, some of the human medical ones, the palms and the llamas and those things are making some pretty cool jumps.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think they're a replacement for a veterinarian, but it's really nice to have when you're coming up with those differential lists.
Hmm.
If you get down to the fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth ideas,
Right.
it's pretty good at those. It has outperformed human physicians at coming up with a differential list of 10 things. And I'm the first to say that a differential list is not a diagnosis, but I think that can really help veterinarians. I think that I'm excited to see how that'll help us. Um, I'm excited because automation, ever since, you know, we could automate anything at all, has always been about taking rote tasks and boring tasks away from us.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's going to take our jobs. I think it's going to take our tasks. And if I can keep the ones I like and
Yeah,
give the ones I don't like to a
exactly.
robot computer brain, that would be swell.
Yeah.
Um,
I really like how you say that, like not there for your work, but for your tasks, because there's definitely some skepticism by some people that, oh no, this is going to replace my job. Now the AI is going to come up with all of the differential diagnosis, and there's no need for a veterinarian anymore. And I, of course, tell them that's not the case. But curious to see how you handle those conversations when you hear them, and you hear the negative sentiments about, oh no, AI is not good.
um, I People who have negative opinions about AI ignore me. They don't talk to me, so I don't hear it very often. But they're like, he's a zealot. We're gonna leave him alone. But they're like, we're never gonna convince him. But I do think like for the skeptical people listening, it's imperfect technology. It's
Hmm.
good at what it's good at. It's bad at what it's bad at. In the way that in the same way that your car is not a boat. My car is great at the things my car does. My car is not great at the things my car does not do. And one of my criticisms of the article in the JAVMA or some other criticisms of LLMs is that we have to do better at explaining what these things are and how they work. We're so used to technology that is information processing technology that now this new technology that's language processing, probabilistic technology, is completely different. I know it's on a computer screen and it looks just the same, but it's really not the same thing at all. And that when I think when more people understand the fundamental differences, I think we'll really lower those barriers to adoption because people are I think a lot of people now are kind of upset that like, oh, my car doesn't float. It's like, yeah, it wasn't really built for that. But let me
Yeah.
show you what it was built for, and you might be really happy with it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Speaking about that, and last thing that I wanted to talk about, like this before we end, is I've also heard about like guardrails and
Yeah.
regulation, and oh yeah, okay, it's good, but what if it says the wrong differential, or what if it doesn't say the right words or the right thing, and like it's sort of a little bit about the skepticism of like it's going to take our jobs, but in a different lens of
Right.
it does this thing, it's good at this thing, but we can't trust it 100% because, as you said, it's probabilistic, it's non-deterministic. So what's your take on like regulation there and guardrails and
I I don't think we understand it well enough to meaningfully regulate it. And if you had regulated it 6 months ago, those regulations would be a punchline today.
yeah,
And I don't know that we have enough people who understand this well enough to start talking about regulation. I mean, it's not, you can do a lot of damage with a scalpel blade. We don't regulate scalpel blades.
yeah,
We, you can do a lot of damage with a car. We have some regulations for a car, but we didn't until we knew what they could do, right? So learn to use it, be responsible about it. The phrase, I use too many driving analogies with this, but don't fall asleep at the wheel. It'll mess with you. Like there's all kinds of technology you can't just set it and forget it, right?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
everything from your automobile to the scalpel blade to the stethoscope around your neck needs you to be responsible. And we don't regulate those things. We just kind of need the veterinarian to use their brain.
yeah,
And veterinarians, for all their other flaws, and I've got my fair share, um, are pretty smart people, right? Like they can learn things. They learn new things all the time. They learn new surgeries, they learn new meds, they learn new techniques and business operations and all these things. So I think it's really like we have a population really well suited to learning this new technology. We just need to encourage them to do so. And maybe someday I'll be for regulation, but
Yeah.
right now it's like, well, don't drive your car into the lake and you'll be all right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Any final words, final thoughts for any veterinarian that wants to learn more, other than reading your Substack, of course.
Oh yeah,
But
I should plug it harder.
anything
Uh,
for some.
I I think go tinker with it. Like if you tried it 12 months ago, try again.
Yeah,
Try like it's made big jumps. It makes big jumps all the time. If you don't want to try it now, try it in a month or two when GPT-5 comes out.
sure.
Uh, but like it's moving so fast. It's
Yeah.
the difference between a flip phone and your iPhone. Like that's how like every year it's going that fast. So don't don't sleep on it. Like go fiddle with it. Like you'll find something it can do that makes your life easier.
Thank you so much, Dr. Will. I really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
man. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Bye.
Take care.